Welcome, Rainmakers, to the Rainmakers Power Hour. We're streaming live on Chatter Social, X, and YouTube. I want to welcome everyone to this podcast. Every Tuesday, we have a special guest and everything having to do with business. So I'm going to hand this off to my co host, Wendy Butler and Macy Nelson. Go ahead, Wendy.
Yes. Before we get started, I want to say a special thank you to our sponsors, Ollie Bigler with Smarter Aircraft. He is with the next generation in private aviation. You can reach him at smarteraircraft.com. And also to William and Harry, elevate your golf game with luxury exotic golf shoes. And Rhett Butler is in the house. You can reach them at williamandharry.com. So we just want to say thank you to those sponsors. And now we're going to get on with our podcast. So Macy, Leanne, and I were talking about how many young entrepreneurs we are seeing out there. It's just amazing. We thought we need to start doing a featured young entrepreneur. It'll be fun to watch how they progress. And in a few years, they're going to be doing more amazing things. Today, we have a special guest, Elsa LoPresti. Hey, Elsa.
Me.
Elsa is one of the brand ambassadors for Market Rebellion. As you guys know, we have been having some of the guys over at Market Rebellion on here. We had her father is the CEO of Market Rebellion, and you can catch his podcast on our YouTube channel. And John Nigerian was on, and we will in the future, sometime shortly, have Pete on. Elsa has her own things going and pretty amazing stuff. We're going to get really into talking to her about some of the things that she's doing in New York City and around the world. So let's start. Elsa, tell us first of all, you live in New York City, you go to school at a private boarding school on Wall Street. Tell us what that is like. The rest of the world, I don't think functions like that by going to school literally on Wall Street.
Yeah, I go to a school called Lamont Manhattan Preparatory School, which is right on Wall Street. It's an international school with a program called International Baccalaureate, which I do, which brings in kids from all over the world. It's a really cool experience because you get to meet people that you never thought you'd meet, countries that you've never even heard of sometimes. So it's really cool to get different perspectives on everything, and working with other kids from such diverse backgrounds. It just brings in so many opportunities you'd never imagine. So that's pretty cool. And I'm a day student, but a lot of our student body is boarding students. So it's nice to have a dorm experience in high school. It's kind of something that's unique to my school because we're the only boarding school in Manhattan. But yeah, growing up on Wall Street, especially in the financial district, gives you so much exposure to all things finance.
I love that. Wow, what an opportunity.
I love it. So I have so many questions for you, but I'm going to try to keep it short. I love that we have you on. In my generation, a lot of our listeners were kind of taught go to school, get good grades, get a good job, right? It's the whole rich dad, poor dad kind of, and I didn't know there was another way to live. And having you on, what are you taught? What's your barometer of money instead of going and working for somebody else? It sounds to me after talking to you a little bit before this that your sights are set so much higher than how we were taught. Walk us through, like, how does your family communicate success, and how do they elevate you to become more than maybe we were taught, especially as a woman, as a girl. Walk us through kind of y'all's conversation around that.
Thank you so much for having me on. First of all, happy to be on with you
Well,
guys.
thanks for being here.
We're very happy to have you, Elsa.
At my school, since the program's a little different than traditional classes, we have kids, including myself, but we have kids who do completely non-traditional things, like they're interviewers or motivational speakers. They just go out and reach other kids our age and even adults. And I think that's something my parents have instilled in me, is that your outreach can be so much further than you realize. You don't have to stay in your school or just your neighborhood or community. You can really reach much farther just by putting yourself out there. You don't have to be 100% confident with yourself or what you're promoting. You know your own beliefs and what you have to offer, and just going out there is half the battle, honestly.
Oh, that's amazing. Credit. I know you've got some questions. But I think what's really cool about having you on is obviously what Wendy said, talking about we can now see where you are now and follow your journey, which is really unique to be able to do that. But also, there's a lot of parents on here that are wanting to raise future rainmakers. So I know, Credit, you and I were talking. What advice do you have for parents? What's the best advice or the best motivation or the best guidance and direction your parents have given you to where your focus is, I hope I get a good job and can pay ends meet every month, right? You're looking at dreaming bigger and better. So if you had to give advice to some parents out there who wants to raise some future rainmakers, what would that be?
I would say to instill in your children confidence because that's something that my dad and my mother have both taught me since I could talk. Just teaching your kids to be confident in themselves and in what they talk and what they preach. Like just making sure that you instill that feeling of confidence, even if sometimes you're not confident. If you just give that off, just fake it enough, it'll eventually come to you. Like, you fake it until it's real, honestly. And I think that teaching your kids to put themselves out there, even if it seems scary, just that's something that it's a skill that you can teach. But until you experience it as a young person, you really start to understand how impactful it is and how much it makes a difference.
Credit, I love that. I love that so much. I think that's key to it. And it sounds like you've got a supportive group around you, and that's amazing. Credit, I know you had a couple questions that you wanted to ask.
Yeah, I mean, this is amazing. Thank you for coming on, Elsa. And it was a
Thank you for
pleasure
having me.
meeting you at the jet party and getting to know each other better. And of course, your dad, we've seen him a few times. My question to you is you mentioned the word confidence, you mentioned connections that you have made, and also my favorite word in the world, access.
Mm.
And it's access to people because people come first, access to knowledge, right? And access to all the other opportunities that are out there. How important is this for you to really master communication? Because a lot of young adults your age or even a little bit older, they're very like they don't want to confront anyone. They don't want to talk to anyone. They'd rather do it through a text. But when you are texting, there's a lot of loss in translation with that. And how are you able to really, because you communicate more than most people that I see in your age group, because I deal with your age group quite a bit. So, how important is that for you, communication?
For me, communication is a big part of entrepreneurship. You have to learn to communicate with other people and being able to read what other people are like going to give you and what you can give back. Learning a dynamic with the people you're working with is super helpful. Being exposed to entrepreneurship in general, and even as you were saying at the hangar party, I mean, that talks about we were having the Grant Cardone Foundation exposes kids to financial literacy, which we do not have. That's something new for me. I mean, even just 5, 10 years ago, that wasn't a thing. So just giving kids the exposure to learn how to make connections with other people and teaching young people to communicate better. I mean, that's something that the foundation works on a lot, but it's really an impactful and pivotal skill.
I love
I
that
just have
question, Credit.
I just have one more question. So, Elsa, in terms of you being an ambassador to the Market Rebellion, your role is to go out there and engage with all the guests that are coming in. Now, my question to you is I know you're under the age of 21. I don't really know what your age is, but what is the age for someone that is actually, is there a legal age that you could trade or not trade because you're out there? The parents may ask, my kids want to trade. So, how do you answer that question?
I'm 17 and I'm learning how to trade options because that's what Mark Rebellion does. I haven't gotten into it exactly, but I've just been following stock market and everything like that just because my dad is so involved with it and growing up next to the stock exchange gives you so much exposure. But I think for kids, you have to be over 18 to have your own account to trade. But you can trade through your parents' account with an adult that helps you. But I'm pretty sure 18 is the age. But I would say do not let that stop you. Don't let that hold your kids back. Don't let that hold you back from encouraging them because it teaches you so much just learning to make a risk. There you go. It's not an option. Yep.
Credit showing her the book.
That's a
Rebellion
great
Credits.
one. Yep. In our research report.
And this
Yeah.
is the one that your dad wrote, and this is the Manhattan Project. You guys got to go and get this. Definitely click on the link on top and get these books. This was one that was actually signed by the Jaron brothers. at the event. But you can get your copy. Just click the link on top that we have. I'm sure you'll find a way to get the book. This is really
And
important.
it's free.
Yeah.
The
Yes,
book
it's
is
We
free.
love
free.
free.
MarkRebellion.com. But
Yes.
Instant Option is a great one, honestly, for teenagers too, because I've read it and it gives you a great step-by-step intro to options, like super simple. Like if you don't know anything, that's okay, because they will lay it out for you, like from step one to finish, to opening an account or opening an account through your parent.
I love that too, because you talk about 18, and I agree, 18 should be where you start with your own account. However, what I love about Market Rebellion is you can do everything they're teaching you in a paper account. For kids, I would love to see more kids trade with their parents. Learn now, right? They can learn. Nothing stops them from going on marketrebellion.com, signing up for some classes, and opening a paper. It's monopoly money, right? So there's not an age limitation on that. They can go through the motions of making trades and learning the craft. Do you currently have a paper trading, or is that what you're learning on, is paper trading?
Yeah, that's what I'm learning on. I mean, that's great to start to just get used to knowing the ropes. That's something I would definitely encourage.
Yeah, you get to learn, you get to make actual trades as if on a trading platform, but there's no risk involved. So it's just monopoly money, but you can really learn. And so for your age, 18 and below, I think that's a great way to start. I wish I would have learned at 17.
And if you go to markrebellion.com, 90% of what we have for learning is free. I mean, 90% of the stuff that you have access to, you don't have to pay for. Really, the courses, that's what you can get to open an account with us. But 90% of the learning you can do yourself as a kid, as a teenager. That's all free.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody
I
loves
mean,
free.
that's great. And actually, I think, Elsa, right before your dad's podcast and also John's, we were running some of the free videos in these rooms. That's what's so great about Chatter. You can put videos at the top, and we have like little mini classes on your free educational portion of your platform over there. And we had a lot of interest in that. So a lot of people watching your dad and John and Pete, and they want to get involved with it. It's great. So let me ask you this, Elsa. You are hanging out with the Grant Cardin family a lot. Of course, you guys are all doing business together. We see you all frequently together. And Grant has made it very well known that he is not a fan of college. He said, I learned how to do drugs in college. I learned all the bad things he learned in college. And he said he doesn't advise it. He says, go to things like Market Rebellion and maybe his Cardone University. Is that something that you want to do? Are you planning on going to college? And if so, what major are you thinking about? What are your thoughts on college?
So I know that Grant promotes not going to college. He has a more anti perspective, but as a junior, I'm planning to go to college because I think there's an in between. You don't have to go full no college or full college. You can do college and also go to all of our events, all of the 10X stuff. And there's always something to be learned everywhere. I mean, especially in college. I think going to college gives you skills that you couldn't learn anywhere else. And also working for somebody else. I know Grant promotes working for yourself and building your own empire, but it teaches you things that will help you later on in building your own empire. I think there's a lot of skills to be built off of. And especially, like, I think college is beneficial for that. And I see where he comes from about how there's a lot of stuff that you're not going to use that you learn in college, but there's a lot of skills that you end up using, in my opinion, that are definitely beneficial to building your own empire.
I agree with you, Elsa. Yes, there are a lot of bad habits and some wasted time, but I think ultimately you do learn a lot. You make a lot of contacts. So, where are you planning on? Are you looking at colleges right now? You're a rising senior. So, you're about to be on the downhill slope there.
I'm interested in economics or finance as my major. So I was looking at a lot of the schools in Pennsylvania, like Drexel, UPenn, Lafayette, and Lehigh. I toured all those. And then I'm going to tour University of South Carolina. And then I toured Miami, of course, which is a great one. Yep.
Yeah. My
That's an
alma
alumni.
mater.
Macy,
Uh,
Macy graduated.
Yep. Yeah. Everyone's
I love that. As a future rainmaker, it sounds like you're already on your journey. A lot of entrepreneurs have a 3-5 year plan. Do you have something like that for yourself where you've got goals and 3, 5, 10 years? If so, can you share those?
Yeah, I would say I do. Well, something I've definitely been working on is my rule at Market Rebellion. Right now, I've been helping at events like the WellsCon that we were all just at. I've been helping with marketing and sales, which is something, it's a skill that I really want to grow. I want to get better at doing sales and just learning how to reach people honestly and be authentic, but still knowing what your craft is and what people respond to. It gives you so much experience going to these events and interacting with the crowd. So I really want to get better at that and just work on all the stuff that I do at Market Building and all the things that my dad does. I mean, he does a lot of stuff on live TV, which is something I would love to get into.
I think that's great. I know Credit and Wendy have more questions, but if you had some additional advice for the parents, you've been exposed to a lot of things. I know you and I were chatting the other night. You're taking a course in public speaking. Was there anything that really inspired you? Obviously, you're immersed in the culture of viewing things differently than a lot of us when we grew up. What do you think would be some key things if a family doesn't have the finances of a boarding school exposed to Wall Street? But there's really some key things that make a difference for you, like market value. You mentioned that. That was a great one to start exposing minors to get them more focused on a broader mindset of what's possible. Really, that's what it's about. It's changing the perspective of what's possible outside of market rebellion. What else do you feel like you've been exposed to that has really broadened your horizons?
I would just say entrepreneurship as a whole. And I think that's something that parents can expose their kids to as well, even without going to events or courses. Just the mindset of an entrepreneur is really great. I mean, just being able to build a product or a service or something just from the ground up teaches you so much and it teaches you how to overcome things and build something new. Even if you don't stick with it, just starting projects and knowing how to get that off the ground, get the ball rolling. I mean, that's something that a lot of kids could benefit from.
I love that. I know Wendy and Credit are bosses in their own right. Things that have inspired me is little stuff like Shark Tank.
Yep.
I've been looking at the market rebellion stuff and I thought, oh, if I knew about this at 16, if I knew about this at 14, would be amazing. I mean, Wendy, you've got a daughter, so, you're a boss, you run a business. I love that Elsa's dad's bringing her in almost like an internship, if you will. Wendy, are you doing
Yeah.
that kind of with Mia?
Well, I did bring her to the event this past time, but she did not have a job. But I'm watching Elsa as she's DJing, which, by the way, one of the best DJs I've ever heard.
Thank
And
you.
Why do we have her Friday night?
I mean, she was amazing. And I thought, wow, she's so multi-talented. Then we go over to the actual event, and you're helping with the sales. At the event in Vegas, you were helping with doing where people are giving their, what do you call it, when they were in the green room talking, doing the testimonials. And she had her sign up sheet and everything. I'm like, you're learning the business from the ground up. It's really cool. And in the process, you're meeting so many interesting people. For instance, in Vegas, you were there with Liz Clayman. I'm assuming you've met Maria and all of these people. Which one of these female business women are you relating to, or you have formed a friendship and they've, I don't know, I feel like you have all these amazing women that you're exposed to. Do you have any favorites?
I would say Liz Clayman from Fox. She's inspirational. She has her own show. She's been working her way to that point for so many years. She's made the finance world and even in like broadcasting, just like more accessible to women and just showing how young women like me, just giving us a good example of somebody who's opened doors for other women. It was not so long ago that the stock exchange and the whole industry season was not open to women like it is today. And Maria Bartiromo as well. I've never met her, but I know she's done a lot of work with my dad. She was one of the first women on the floor of the stock exchange when my dad started. She was the only one setting trends for women in the future is inspirational, something that I look up to.
It's very exciting, isn't it? I was excited to meet her. She spoke at that event and talked about, I don't know if you remember this, Elsa, but she was like, well, I called Warren and asked him this and that. I was like, okay, she's on speed dial with Warren and asking him all these questions. She talked about how she just slowly got into meeting him and its exposure. Pretty amazing. Cool stuff. I know you also mentioned that you were doing Wharton business competitions at your school and that you have a lot of international students and you enjoy doing that. Can you tell us more about that?
I do some business competitions with the FBLA, a club in my school called Future Business Leaders of America. Within that, you can pick groups to do a Wharton business competition, which is kind of a more out of school thing. The one I did most recently was a mock hedge fund with 3 boarding students from China and 2 kids from New York. So it's just nice to have like kind of a international perspective when doing this because there's a big difference between the stock exchange here and the stock exchange in China and abroad. Just getting different perspectives like that was really cool. We had a mock hedge fund where we got a client who needed to build a portfolio and then we picked out which stocks and why, and then we had to write a report on that. And it was nice because I could write about the stocks that I knew about here. They wrote about the ones they knew about from foreign countries and China and all that. And then we built pretty nice portfolio, pretty solid. We ran the green most of the time.
That is great. What a wonderful education you're getting there on Wall Street. Did I interrupt you?
I'll finish up and then I'll have a question after you.
No, you go.
I have a question. Is this your first podcast that you're a guest on? Because I know that you host a podcast and I want to know what that podcast is all about. Well, what kind of guests do you have on? I have a young client. His name is Casey Adams. I don't know if you know him, but he is one of the most famous younger podcasters out there. He had like Larry King on there and all these amazing, I think Titas were on there. And because he was younger, he told me that it was easier for him to get these high profile guests because he was very inquisitive and interested in all this. What has been your experience as a podcast host for your show?
So I have a podcast with my friends called The 1 Yard Line, which is an NFL podcast, but we cover all sports. And we started it September 2024. It's more of a hobby. It taught us a lot about podcasting in general. It's a world that you just got to start. You don't need to know everything. You just need to start. Getting that experience is cool. Like we talk about fantasy. We talk about our fantasy picks and the drafts, and we do game recaps and like MVP rankings and who we think played best in games. And it's just like we have a nice dynamic with my co-hosts, and it's fun to produce something. I'm the producer, so I edit all our episodes and I put them on our YouTube, our Spotify, our Instagram, do all that. Like get the good clips, put them on Instagram. It's nice to get that experience. It's also a topic we're all passionate about. We all love sports. We all have opinions. So it's nice to talk kind of just go over that.
I love that. It sounds like some people talking about sports, but just look what you've named, the skills that you're learning: producing, editing, promoting, marketing, all the things that you need to do as an entrepreneur. I love it. I mean, that's just amazing. I was not expecting it to be about sports. You're so talented in so many areas. I didn't know what I was expecting you to say it was about, but then you came out with football, and I was like, this is my kind of girl.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
we're
because you have to be watching the games closely so that you can report on them and be able to talk about them intelligently on your podcast. Amazing.
Yeah, I write up the run of show before each episode and I see what topics we're going to cover, what questions I'm going to ask. And like each of our friends have like a specialty. So one of my friends goes over like the Premier League and soccer. We broadened our horizons from just NFL. We have our sleeper spotlight where we talk about the specific sleeper player that we think is going to do well next. So that's like just a 60-second kind of segment. And then yeah, I mean, we have one person who's really into MLB. So we talk about the Yankees, of course, because we're in New York and because we're all Yankees fans. But yeah, so just go over what each person's going to talk about and the questions. And it's just nice to get the experience of writing up a run a show, even if it's just about sports.
We have some gamblers on, and I can tell you they're writing down the name of your podcast so they can get all the tips and tricks. And when they go to the betting station, people bet on sports all the time. I think that's hysterical. We've got some on here, so they're probably taking notes right now about your podcast. That is just so cool. One of the things I like about podcasts and what you're talking about is a lot of what you've talked about has been at your physical school, but a lot of what you've talked about has been online. And I think that's where, for a lot of people, they're going to find their motivation, they're going to find their education, they're going to find their resources. And your generation is way more versed at online spaces than my generation. And so, can you tell us? We've already talked about Market Rebellion, and that is by far one of my favorite online resources. But when you're talking to somebody your age that doesn't have the means, that doesn't live in New York, can you give us some more highlights of your online resources that you really go to for either motivation or learning a craft or skill or perpetuating your goals and dreams? Obviously, the skills with trading, we hit Market Rebellion. We all love free. So that's a great site. What other online resources could you recommend?
I would say there's so much accessible on YouTube. That's a popular one for so long. I don't think people take enough advantage of it because you can really learn anything on YouTube. You can start at whatever level, and there's so much to be learned. If you search for it, whatever topic you want, it is there. The internet has so much to offer that if you put a little bit of time or effort into it, you'll find so many resources you didn't realize you had.
Well, you know what? We have some questions in the audience. Rhett Butler, I know you have a question. Go ahead, Rhett, and then we're going to move the questions along for our
Oh, yeah.
audience. Thank you.
Hey, Elsa. How you doing, dear? I also went to a school that we were half boarders and half day.
Nice.
I had a lot of friends that were from other countries, were very unusual to learn their skills. And I think what you're going to find is, as you're older, two of the guys from my high school are on the Supreme Court now, which is a little unusual. And Neil Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh. And then that's funny, you're a Yankees fan. So Cashman went to my high school.
Really?
So the voice of the Yankees, Bob Shepard, is my best friend's father. It's funny listening to you because you need to tell the people in the audience because they don't understand the opportunities you have. I was exposed to a variety of things. Where do you think that's going to take you? Obviously, your parents felt very strongly. You have such an opportunity being exposed to these things. I like the podcast idea. I like the Market Rebellion idea, but I'm more interested in your career about going to college. Where do you think your school's going to allow you to get into school? And how do you tell these parents it's actually a pretty good thing from your contacts now for the future? Because I know my son went to a prep school. This will change your life for contacts. And let's say you don't do Market Rebellion. What else would you want to do with economics? As this podcast, you have Wendy and Credit, who are super entrepreneurs, and you have Macy, who is probably the top female in her field in the whole world for what she does. What would you want to do as a female to change the world?
I'm just hoping to inspire other young people, young entrepreneurs, that it's okay to start wherever you are and just go for it. I really love broadcasting. My dad does that a lot. He's on CNBC on Fox Business. And so, like, just watching him on TV, I mean, something you can do from home. I mean, that's something I'm hoping to do. And I'm hoping that, like, I'll go to a college that has, like, a decent broadcasting program so that I can just get more experience in that. I really enjoy that. But I'm just hoping that even if completely, like, detached from Market Rebellion, just being able to inspire other people or other young women in general to just go for it and not let anything hold you back. Even if you feel like there are variables holding you back, just starting, going after it. I started with Market Rebellion when I was like, when I talked to people, I mean, clients I've never met, like high profile people in general, you just got to go for it and have that confidence, even if you really don't, just to talk to people.
You're very mature for your age, and we
Thank you.
but
Most definitely.
do you think that's a combination of your education and your accessibility to people in maybe the higher net worth range, or where do you get that from?
I get it from my parents. My mom is an entrepreneur as well. She runs a chocolate business and talks to clients all the time. She inspires me to put myself out there in ways that I don't think I would do on my own. Seeing her talk to people and just telling them about what she does, that's something that's super inspiring to me.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that. I think your education is going to help you. I think college is for about 20 to 30% of the people that go just for either contacts, because I'll use the Cardone thing, the contacts equals contracts. And Wendy always quotes that. And credit is the same way, accessibility to people. And Macy is just getting out there in front of thousands of people. It's funny, everybody has their skill set. I'd be curious to see where you go in the next 5 years. Hopefully, you report back in every year after you move on.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, Stephanie, did you have
I'm following her on Instagram so that I can keep up with her story.
I can put it in the chat and I can put my podcast in the chat too.
Yes, please do, because we're all going to want to. I'm already following you. I'm already a huge fan.
I know we're connected.
Yes, put all of that in the chat so people could follow your story. And that's what's so beautiful. You have no idea who you inspire. I hear from people all the time, and I'm sure you do too. You inspire people. If you're a parent listening, have your kid follow her just by you being you and putting your story out there, your steps, your journeys, and your failures. I do that too. You have no idea who you can inspire. So, all the parents, get into the chat, get those links, get your kids set up so they can follow Elsa.
I hope so. I'm hoping to inspire some people, young people especially, but honestly, just everybody.
So, Elsa, I know you speak Swedish and you are a golfer. Your school won the competition. I guess it was a tournament. You had a great team. You were telling me a little bit about that. Tell us about your golf game these days.
What
So
sheet
I
were you
did-
wearing?
I'm wearing the ones from you guys, William and Harry.
Of course, Rhett is so excited. We're going to have a picture of you in those William and Harry shoes winning that
Oh,
tournament.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we won our ISAL League championships, which was pretty cool because this is my first year on the golf team at my school. And I wasn't sure. I mean, I'm not the best on the team, but it's definitely super fun to do it. And two of the kids I do it with are the kids from my Wharton business competition. So I do know the people on it. But yeah, I've been playing since I'd say the summer.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's fun.
I tell you what, I watch Rhett and all the people that he has met through golf. It is really amazing. I mean, he plays all over the country from just friends from playing in high school, college, and general clubs over the years. So,
So many deals are made. But ladies, credit, would you not have loved to have had an Instagram when you were her age and you could have followed somebody like her and you could have been like, oh, they're playing golf. They're meeting these people. They're doing this. They're taking a class in this. They're interning.
Well, Macy, it's funny you said that, but I remember when I first started playing golf, there weren't a lot of women out there. And
Exactly.
also,
So
and I used
isolated.
I was only female, and it was kind of nice, but at the same time, I wanted more women to go into areas like that. I was always the only female speaker. I was always the only one, and now I'm starting to see more women out there. There are more influencers because when I was on Instagram, I was the first few female influencers in the financial space, and now I'm seeing more and more. That's very encouraging to see. Elsa, definitely give us some tips on how can we connect and with your age group. I mean, how do we encourage you without feeling like we're pushing you into something? A lot of it has to do with self-motivation. How do we help get that out? Get
I
them
mean,
out to
you were talking about being the only woman. There's one other girl on my golf team. So it's me, one other girl, and like 8 boys.
Oh,
Most
wow.
of the time, I'm up against boys from other schools that I've never met. It's kind of scary, to be honest, like, teeing off in front of 8 boys from a different school that you've never met. And that's just something that, like, you got to be the change that you want to see in the world. I mean, if you want to see more women on the field, you want to see more women in the industry, you got to start that. And you were saying that being one of the first women to be an influencer in the financial world, that's because you were the change that you wanted to see. And that's like setting trends, showing other women that it is possible. It's good to have that. To answer your question about reaching young people, I would say the foundation does a great job of doing that. The Grant Cardone Foundation talks about financial literacy kids, and they give outreach to schools. They don't push it too much because they allow kids to answer questions. It's an open-ended conversation, not like lecturing. That's something changing a lot in education. We're veering away from lecturing kids and going more into learning by doing. That's something Grant pushes in his classrooms at Cardone University and the foundation. They teach kids to learn by doing. Kids remember that. You remember what you did, how it made you feel. You're not going to remember what somebody just told you.
Wow.
Amazing.
That is, I mean, your answers are just spot on. Seriously, guys, we got to give this girl a.
And this is exactly what we were talking about at the beginning. Generations can teach each other different things. Perspectives is everything. I am not as literate on this app as the other hosts. So if there's other questions, Wendy, can you see if anybody else has any questions? Because I do not have the ability to do that.
McGenna
has
go ahead, girl.
Uh-oh. Let's see something.
This is the first
There
time
we go.
Jennifer's not talking.
Kid,
Come on.
uh-oh. Must be having some.
She left and came back.
did
McGenna,
not.
go ahead, girl.
I left and came back because
Yep,
I
sure.
cannot unmute. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
ahead.
yes.
Amazing. Elsa, so good to see you.
Great to see you.
You know how much I love you.
Of course, me too.
And I want
We
you to
all
know
love this
how,
girl.
but I also how inspiring it is to see your humbleness. It's also very rare for someone your age to carry themselves with such grace and groundness. So I want you to kind of tattoo it in your heart to never ever lose that because it's a beautiful strength. I've seen you a few times in real life, and all that love you have for every person that's in those spaces. You are your own person. You're Elsa. I mean, you are Mark's daughter, but you're also Elsa. You had that immediate identity. You are incredible, and I am so proud of you. You already inspire me. So if you worry that you want to inspire a few people, I think every single one in this room is inspired by you. Keep going. I cannot wait to see your journey evolve. You'll do great things. Wendy and Macy, great job bringing Elsa on. I love that she's so young and kind.
Oh, thank you, Megan.
Well,
I always love seeing you at our event.
Thank you, Wendy, for opening that door.
I was so excited. We can't wait to see what all you are doing. Just amazing things. I did want to ask one more question. If I don't know, I don't see any hands up at the moment, so I'm going to.
We have one
Uh,
more question.
Who is it?
And Dylan, are you there?
Hey, everybody. Glad to
Dylan?
be here. This has been an awesome podcast. My question is, who are you watching on social media? As much as everybody might think it's Gary V and Grant Cardone, and I'm sure those might be in there, who's keeping your attention right now on social media? Is it Kai Cenat and iShowSpeed? Is it the streamers? Is it Joe Rogan? Is it something more intellectual, like a 3-hour podcast? Where is your attention going when you are on social media watching content?
That's a great question. I'm always watching Macy and Wendy. They put out great content. And then I know you said Grant Cardone. He's all over my feed too. I'm also watching Sabrina Cardone, Grant's daughter. She puts out a lot of great stuff and she's a great person. I've met her and I'm friends with her. She's really down to earth and she knows a lot about how to carry herself. She keeps my attention on Instagram and she knows how to appeal to a young audience like myself. So I would say her.
I love that the answer was that there really wasn't an influencer, but it's more your network and your community that you've built relationships with, and then that's who you're watching. I like that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dylan.
I love that too. I just want to ask one closing question before we go. I did notice on your Instagram, you have a verse on there and it happens to be my favorite verse, Proverbs 3:5. Never rely on what you think you know or your own understanding, right? How much does faith play a role in how you live your life? And
My faith plays a huge role in how I ground myself. 3:5 is a great verse because it tells you to not lead by what you think, always lead by what the Lord tells you. Morals in general, even if you don't have to be perfect every single time, but just knowing that you have that, it kind of allows you to see like the opportunity in a lot of people you never thought you would see. Every time I meet somebody new, I always go into it feeling like I have something to learn from this person. Every single person that I meet even in the events, out of the events, kids at school, I always have something I can learn from this person. And I always want to go into things with an open mind. And I feel like that's something the Bible has taught me. Don't hold grudges, don't hold presumptions about people because you don't know. Just having an open and like a forgiving and like a loving mindset, that changes the game and how you run anything. Business aside, just your life. It also gives you so much more power mentally because if you're exerting all your mental power on what you think other people think, it takes away from your actual potential. Why not put that energy into something else?
I love it. I struggled with confidence, and I know you've got a lot of confidence. When I brought faith into my journey as an entrepreneur, it changed my game significantly. And I just loved that you had that, right? People always ask me, how did you get to where you are being a female in your industry? And I'm like, well, there's two of us. There's me and there's God. So it's not just me. I just loved your answer on that.
Loved your aunt. I mean, who wants everybody give her a heart emoji if you love that answer? My gosh, this is good stuff
Well,
going on
Wendy,
here.
we have one more hand
I see.
raised. Nigel on. Did you have something to say?
Hello. Thank you for joining us today. It's such an honor to hear one of the brilliant minds of this upcoming generation. As someone who's building a venture that's focused on supporting upcoming doors, this has been fantastic. My question is this. It's kind of a simple question, but I think it's a great question, especially for the Gen Z generation that you're coming up in. I would love to understand, what is money? That's my simple, yet I think pretty deep. My simple question: what is money? Like, how are you viewing what money is?
I think for me, from what I've been exposed to, money is freedom. And that's something that Grant also preaches a lot. One quote I remember him saying is that like, you work not just for the weekends, not just for a vacation, but you work like to spend time with your family. You work so that you have that freedom to be with the people that actually matter, to be with what matters at the end of the day. And I mean, even bringing back like faith into that, like that's, you got to see what's really important at the end of the day. And at this point, like in the world, like that's what money's going to allow you to do and spend your time with. Honestly, it'll allow you to get all the fancy things that Grant always shows and people always show you on social media. But at the end of the day, money is what will give you that freedom to spend time with what actually matters, which at the end of the day, it's like the people that you surround yourself with and who you love.
I
I
mean,
love
every
dig-
answer is
I
awesome.
mean, just love it.
We
So,
just love you, Elsa.
Lindsay, I
That's
know
a
we
great
gotta
question.
wrap
You
up.
guys,
That's
thank
so
you
good.
so much for coming in, Elsa. We really appreciate you. We want to thank the audience, everyone here for dropping in and sharing this room with us and sharing this experience with Elsa. We met her in real life, and I know Wendy's met her quite a few times. I
Just
met her for the
adorable
first time. But we want to
girl.
thank everyone for coming in, and of course, our sponsors, Smarter Aircraft and William and Harry. And we're going to have more sponsors in the future, but we appreciate everyone that is showing up. And we want to see you next week at the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern on Chatter. Of course, this is where the live action takes place and it streams on YouTube and also on X. So, Wendy, you have any last minute things to say? And Macy, my co host here.
Chatter is coming. Chatter social app. If you want to be a part of our live audience, that is where you go. And it is coming out of beta in the very near future. We should see a huge amount of growth in the next few days. If you are interested in being part of our live audience, please go to Chatter and sign up and follow us on the Rainmakers Power Hour. And you can also see about our upcoming guests on our Instagram page, Rainmakers Power Hour Instagram page. That's where we post all of our upcoming guests and videos of things that they're doing. We posted recently about your dad. I saw him on one of the Fox Business News. Put it up there and said you can also check back on our YouTube to see it. We just continue to bring more information about our guests there. Thank you guys. Thank you, Elsa.
Thank you for me.
Elsa,
That's
you
amazing.
were much better than your dad.
I'll make sure
Point
to.
blank.
Yeah, make sure.
Thank you. And I know it's a school night. Tell your parents thank you for allowing you to come on. And we appreciate it. You guys have a great night.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Bye, everyone.